Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Provi Com. My name is Chris from Minnesota, and if you missed it, we already had a Provi Com this week. It was Wednesday, the last segment of Sky's podcast called Health is Happiness, starring Mason Mendez, the vegan. It was hilarious, not only because the topic was absurd, veganism, but also just because Mason is a funny guy. My favorite parts of his segment was when he used the phrase utter fatigue to describe what happens when he ingested dairy. Udder. And dairy comes from a cow, so there you go, put two and two together. And my second favorite part was when he said, "Do you know what I do when I don't want to work out? I look in the mirror and I say, 'Shut up, Mason, and do your workout.'" Yes, gold. I myself have made up my resolve never to leave Providence for veganism. During the segment, Mason made an incredible announcement that he's going to beat the world records in push-ups. And he's been practicing by doing 1,000 push-ups a day to prepare. He also made a vow before God that he would try to beat the world record in doing as many push-ups as he can in a single day. But what Mason doesn't know is I have made my own solemn vow to God to beat Mason's record by one push-up. This means if Mason accomplishes the world record of doing 5,000 push-ups in a single day, then I vow to God that I will do 5,001 push-ups. And if Mason does 6,000 push-ups in a day, I will have to do 6,001 push-ups. I will be carrying out this vow using solely a meat and dairy-based diet. It's going to be utterly awesome. Now, I think I speak for everyone when I say congratulations to Pastor Sky on his marriage to Kyla. And now he's taking the big step of traveling all the way back to Canada to tell his parents what he's done. Now, Pastor Sky, I just have one word of advice for you. Prenup. Because I don't know how it works over there in Canada. But in America, if a woman leaves you, she takes half your possessions. That means for you, half of your cryptocurrency assets and half of your Starbucks gift cards. Now, considering she married you without your knowledge, you never know when she's going to get up and leave. So get a prenup. All right, everyone. I thought I would tell a funny story that happened to me in Walmingdong more than a few years ago. And it involved another member, and his name is One Chun, also known as Gordon. Now, this is a true story based on real life events. And for this story, I'm going to have to use One Chun's slave name, Gordon, to not confuse him with the rest of the Koreans in the story. For this story, I will be going as Chris. This particular story has a moral, and it opened my eyes to something that happens to the Asian community quite often that I never really experienced firsthand until I had the tables flipped on me in Walmingdong. All right, so this takes place in front of the grass lawn by the Walmingdong Holy Water. And I'm just standing there, minding my own business. And this Korean girl comes up to me. She's a little older. I didn't know her, and she said, "Oh, Chris, did someone come and talk to you about what happened back at the 316 Memorial Temple?" And I'm standing there, confused, staring at her blankly, and wondering, what is she talking about? And she sees my confusion, and she's like, "Oh, never mind," and then proceeds to walk away. And there I am, at the Wilmington Water, wondering what just happened. So then I go to the grass lawn, and I pray about it for 3 hours. No, just kidding. No, actually, I just stand there dumbfounded. Well, about 15 to 20 minutes later, Gordon comes up to me on the sports field, and he's like, "Hey, hi, Chris. How are you doing? Crikey, say, did a short Korean lady come up to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then Gordon says, "Well, funny thing about that. So when I was at the 316 Memorial Temple, I think I may have entered the wrong bathroom." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he says, "And I think they thought I was you." And now I'm starting to put two and two together. And I'm like, oh, that's why she came up to talk to me. And then I was like, "So Gordon, did you say that you weren't me?" And then Gordon says, jokingly, "I told them my name was Chris." And then he proceeds to laugh out loud. Now, I don't think he was joking either. I think he actually did that. So at this point, we have probably the only two white guys in Wilmington, and we're pretty similar height. But other than that, we don't look a lot alike, apart from our symmetry and perfect bone structure, and we're both white. So we've got both of us, and the Koreans think that I'm a pervert because they think I walked in the women's bathroom, when in reality, the true public offender was Gordon. And instead of clearing my name, Gordon allowed me to take the fall for his heinous misdeeds of not being able to read the word woman in Korean, hence entering the wrong domain. So let this be a lesson to all of you that if you look identical to Gordon as I do, he will use you as a body double in order to create mischief because he's a selfish Kiwi. So you know how all white people think that Asians look alike, and the first time you go to Korea, you can't tell the difference between anybody. And every male that you see, you're bowing down to because you think it's sensing them. Anyway, this was the reversal of that. And I realized that to Asian people, all white people look the same, irregardless of if you have different hair color or different eye color. Doesn't matter. I guess we all look the same to them too. And I'm glad that I finally have this platform that I can use to clear my name of this indecency committed by Won Chun. And the moral of this story is that while people are accusing Sunsonim of being a pedophile, the real pervert is Gordon. And I'm bringing my own accusations against him. I'm also collaborating with first-hand witnesses and Netflix on a true crime documentary. It's called For the Love of God, Please Use the Correct Bathroom, A Gender Betrayal. Get it? Because he betrayed his own gender by using the wrong bathroom. And finally, if backed into a corner and put in a hostile situation, Gordon will hide behind the white guy that most closely resembles him. A lot of comedians like to joke about their wife having a dream about them cheating on her, and then the wife will just be mean to the husband all day because of what happened in the dream, and the husband did absolutely nothing. Now, I personally can't say that my wife had a dream in which I cheated on her, but what I constantly get accused of is extradition. Now, let me explain. My wife is from Eastern Europe, from Moldova, a tiny country in the center of Europe. And she often has dreams about Moldova. And apparently, I always wake her up at the wrong times. She's a very light sleeper. So I always wake her up, and I ruin her dream of Moldova, and she says, "Chris, I was in Moldova, and I was studying at the library, and walking through fields of flowers, and a unicorn kissed me." And then I have to be like, I am so sorry that I got on an airplane from America to Moldova with the immigration authorities, handcuffed you, and dragged you back to America out of Moldova. Honestly, that's how she feels when I wake her up from her dream. It's that catastrophic, and it might ruin half of her day. For those of you who don't know what Moldova is, it is the poorest country in Europe. I don't know much about their economy, but I do think I know why they are poor. My wife on a daily basis always reminds me about random holidays I never knew existed. International Earth Day, International Women's Day, International Children's Day, Mythical Creature Day, Potato Day. They have so many holidays over there in Moldova. Nobody has time to hold down a job. They're always partying all the time, dancing, singing, festivals. I like to call Moldova the Mexico of Europe. And I've been to Moldova, and actually it is quite similar to Mexico. They dance, they party, they drink. Very similar culture. My wife and I have 2 cats. Sensinum said every couple should have 2 to 5 kids. Ours just have more hair and age faster. Maya kinda looks like Ina. Ina likes to let the cats outside unleashed. Ina's my wife's name, by the way. I don't have a problem with the cats going outside instead of playing on their phones and watching TV, like today's younger generation. I try to limit their screen time so they don't become too soft like kids these days. I just don't want them killing everything in our neighbor's yard. So I set up a 50-foot line, kind of like a dog run, a long leash that you would attach your animal to. But Ina never uses it. I didn't know getting pets would involve wife training. She never learns. I can train my cats faster. The other day, I bought the most worthless cat tracker. You see, I want to keep track of my cats, so I started looking up air tags. And Petco sells this thing called the Paw Scout. So apparently, it is the only one that had a version of the app that was absolutely free. So I bit and I bought it. So basically, it's like an air tag that you put around your cat's neck. Now, for those of you who don't know what an air tag is It's kind of like a geolocating device that you can put in a purse or a car, and if someone takes it or you misplace it, then you can instantly track down its location with your phone, and it's very accurate. So they said don't use it for pets, so I bought this thing called the Paw Scout, which is basically an AirTag for a cat. Now, when I put it on my cat and then I released my cat outside and tested it, it showed no real location of the cat. It just basically told me how many feet away the cat was from me. If I wanted to play Marco Polo with my cat, then I would just say, Maya, and she would go, meow, and respond like that, and that's how I would find her. But instead, I go out, I pay money for this item, and it tells me how many feet away from me my cat is. Very worthless. It doesn't even tell me the direction the cat is in. So it's like the app is telling me, oh, you're hotter. Oh, cold, colder, freezing. I bet if I paid $1 or $2 more for the premium app, then it would show me which direction my cat was in instead of me having to guess. Anyway, I'm very upset about this product, and I started researching for something better after I returned it. And I kid you not, there is something called the Marco Polo out there, and it's basically the same thing as what I bought. It tells you, using a radio frequency, how many feet your cat is away from you. I think that's all the venting I will be doing for this week. Shout out to Mason for his excellent segment on the religion of veganism. And shout out to One Chun for giving me an experience I will never forget. And finally, congratulations once again to Pastor Sky.